The Holy Gospel according to St. John, 15th chapter. Glory to you, Lord. Jesus said, "As the Father has loved me, so I have loved you. Abide in my love. If you keep my commandments, you will abide in my love, just as I have kept my Father's commandments and abide in his love. I have said these things to you, so that my joy may be in you, and that your joy may be complete. This is my commandment, that you love one another as I have loved you. No one has greater love than this, to lay down one's life for one's friends. You are my friends if you do what I command you. I do not call you servants any longer, because the servant does not know what the master is doing. But I have called you friends, because I have made known to you everything that I have heard from my Father. You did not choose me, but I chose you, and I appointed you to go and bear fruit, fruit that will last, so that the Father will give you whatever you ask him in my name. I am giving you these commandments, so that you may love one another." The Gospel of the Lord. So the other day, I got another friend request on Facebook. If you don't use Facebook, a friend, as far as Facebook is concerned, is anybody that both people agree to have a connection to. So this person who was friending me, I thought, I think I know that person. I know that person. But I thought that person was already my friend on Facebook. And if somebody is already your friend on Facebook and you get another friend request from them, it's probably somebody pretending to be that person. Got to be careful about this stuff with online things nowadays. So I went and did something that I do not usually do, and I went and I looked at my list of Facebook friends. And I discovered that at this point, I have over 360 Facebook friends. And now that is a small number of Facebook friends for some of my Facebook friends who have over 1,000 Facebook friends, but it still got me to thinking, who are all these people? And how can they be my friends? So the thing is with Facebook, Facebook calls people friends because they friended you, but as I looked through my list, I thought, some of these friends really are my friends. They are my deepest, closest personal friends. They are people I have known for a long time. I trust them completely. I care about them. They care about me. They are the people that I always know are going to be there for me. Some of my Facebook friends are people that I know and I like, and they are my people that maybe I haven't seen in a long time. High school classmates, college classmates, people that are colleagues of mine who have moved away, folks that I keep in touch with every once in a while, I see occasionally, and I like those people too, and that's fine, but they're not really my closest friends, but they're still people that I know and like. But as I'm looking through that, and I go, you know what? I have Facebook friends that I think I have never actually met in real life. There are people that, in fact, I know I do, because I have Facebook friends who are the spouses of my cousin's kid, or somebody else that, or a colleague that I met once long ago at an event, and they became my Facebook friends. But I wouldn't know these people if I bumped into them on the street. What does it mean to be a friend? Well, even before there was Facebook, we used friend in lots of different ways, right? People would refer to friends as their closest, most intimate friends that were their close confidants, the people they trusted, the people that they always hung out with. But we use friend to mean, my neighbor down the street that I sometimes get together with and we hang out and do social stuff, that's my friend. And sometimes, friend was just used, as it still is used, as a way of kind of kissing up to somebody. Politicians get up and they say to us, "Friends, let me talk." It's like, you're not my friend, you don't even know who I am, but they want me to think that I'm their friend. So what does it mean to be a friend? What is real friendship all about? And what does it mean when Jesus tells his disciples, and by extension all of us, that God's goal is friendship with us? Now there are probably lots of good definitions of friendship, but when I think of my real friends, the people that I would always call a friend even if Facebook did not, I think of a friend as somebody who likes me and accepts me even when they know everything about me that is totally unlikable. They know what I am like in the morning before I have had my coffee. They have had the misfortune to ride in the car with me while I'm driving on the Beltway. And yet, they like me anyway. They accept me anyway. I never question a friend not being my friend because they see some unlikable, unlovable part of me. I know that person will always be a friend. A friend is somebody who I always trust to have my back. My friends are my allies who are looking out for me even when I am not so well looking out for myself. My friends are the people who are going to actually tell me, even though it's uncomfortable, you know, you're doing something really stupid here. You really need to stop that. And it's not because there's anything in it for them, because they would prefer I do something else because of them. They just are looking out for me. I know and I listen to those people because I trust that they have my back. That's what a friend is. And a friend is somebody who I actually look forward to helping. I'm glad to have the opportunity to help out my friend, even if it's kind of tiring and obnoxious to stop what I'm doing and go help them. I'm good with doing that because I like to have the opportunity to show the kind of care and concern for my friend that my friend always shows for me. That, to me, is what it means to have a friend. And so I don't think we should skip over too lightly in today's gospel reading where Jesus calls his disciples friends. He doesn't just call them my servants, my students, he says, now you're my friends. He promises to be a friend to them, and he asks them to live as his friends. And therefore, living as friends of God is supposed to be what our spiritual life is really all about. But do we take that seriously? And does it condition how we think and feel and act in our everyday lives? In some ways, it can be more pious to think about Jesus as our good shepherd or as our king or as our savior, and all of those things are true. But when we start to think of Jesus in those terms, it's easy to think of Jesus and God as sort of like far away distant from our everyday real lives. But if Jesus is my friend, if Jesus says that through him God is my friend, then it means something really different about who God is in relationship to me and to you. Because if in Jesus God is my friend, it means that I'm supposed to live each day with the confidence that God accepts me and actually likes me, even when I am being my worst self. Not because I have somehow hidden from God the things that I don't want God to say. Like most people, I never let you see me in the morning before I have my coffee. Even at early service, I have always had plenty of coffee before you see me. God sees me. God knows the thoughts in my mind that I do not like to think. God knows the feelings in my heart that I am ashamed of. And I have good filters. It doesn't come out of my mouth. But God knows all that stuff and yet still loves me. Still likes me. Is not going to walk away from me. That is a hugely different way of thinking of God than so many people tend to think about God, who are always worried that if God really knew what I was like, if God really knew what I was thinking, God really knew what I was feeling, God wouldn't like me very much. But that's not what a friend does. That's not what God does. If God is my friend, it means that I live each day knowing that God has my back, that I can trust God to be there for me, that God is trying to help pull my feet out of the fire when I'm trying to jump into it, which is hugely different than the way that some people talk about God. There are lots of Christians who walk around and act as though what God is doing is sitting up in heaven, looking down at you going, I am waiting for you to screw up, because the moment you do, wham, I'm going to smite you and send you to hell. And and a lot of people, if you ask people, what do Christians believe about God? That's what they'll tell you, because that's what too many Christians have kind of acted like. That's who God is. But a friend doesn't do that. A friend is trying to help you out. A friend is trying to save you. A friend is trying to keep you out of trouble. And if God's our friend, that's what God is always trying to do. Not trying to find ways to tell us how bad we feel. And if God is my friend, then I live each day doing what God asks me to do, not in order to earn God's friendship, but because God is already my friend. When you do stuff for your friends, you're not doing it because if you haven't done enough for your friend lately, your friend won't be your friend anymore. You know your friend's going to be your friend. You do it because you want to do it, not because you have to do it. That's the kind of relationship God wants to have with us. One in which we're able to say, you know what, I'll do these things. And I do stuff for my friends you could not pay me to do. Really. I just wouldn't do it for anybody else. But if my friend says, would you do this? I really need your help. I'll do it because I care about my friend. That's the kind of thing we ought to think about whenever we hear any of God's commandments. They're not like, do this or else I'm going to smite you. Do this because I need you to do this in order to share my love with somebody else. It's a different way of looking at why we do what we do. In the end, Jesus says that the greatest friend is somebody who's actually willing to go and lay his life down for his friends. And then Jesus shows his disciples that he is that friend. And in that sense, the death and resurrection of Jesus is not simply about paying a price for sin, but demonstrating the depth of God's love and showing us that God really is our friend. And so what Jesus asked his first disciples to do, and what Jesus asks all of us to do, is to live as God's friends, for our words and for our deeds, for our attitudes. And if we really believe that God is our friend, then we can leave behind the fear and the guilt and the judgment that so often characterizes how we think and talk about God. Instead, Jesus calls us to live as God's friends by projecting confidence in God's love for us and for others in our world. Jesus calls us to live as God's friends by relying on God's presence and help, even and especially when things are really bad. And Jesus calls us to live as God's friends by doing what God asks us to do, simply because that's what friends do for each other.